Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing wonderfully this, what is it, Wednesday? Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, today's guest on the podcast is the one, the only Helena Mayer Music, or Helena Mayer, as she goes in real
Hi,
life.
guys. That's fair. It'd be kind of weird if I went by music.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
true.
Kanye goes by Ye now.
That's true. And didn't Prince go by a symbol for a while? So he was the
I
artist
think so.
formerly known
Yeah.
as Prince. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Wild.
but welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Definitely. I was at the flower market this morning at like 4 a.m. So that was a lot, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we're living off a chai tea today.
Nice, 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 nice.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we all gotta live off of some sort of energy, right? Whether it be
Oh
sleep or
yeah.
coffee or
Oh yeah.
tea. But yeah, good to hear that you're doing well. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Um,
Happy to be here.
yeah, so I guess just, let's just get right into it. So, obviously, big Twitch streamer, famous, big time, right?
I mean, I'm grateful for the community that I have for sure. They're really wonderful. Hi guys.
Yeah, so, let's get talking a little bit into that, So obviously you started Twitch just 2 years ago, right? And you're
Yeah.
already at 10,000 followers,
Yeah,
right?
we're getting really close. We're like 400 and something away from 10,000, which is
That's
insane.
wild in two
I
years
know.
especially. And I think you made what, partner in like a year or something?
Yeah, so I started streaming. I think my first stream was very first stream was very end of August. And then I hit partner right before TwitchCon of last year. So I think it was like September.
Wow,
Yeah.
insane, insane. How has that whole journey been for you?
Yeah, it's been
From
I sorry, you keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, just like, from your first streams where, obviously everyone has the streamer hiccups, right, of first streams with, you know, audio and
Oh yeah.
visuals and all of that to, where you are now.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, I'm seeing some of my community in the chat. Hi, John. Hi, Nico. Hi, Diego. Oh my gosh, there's so many NZ climber. I love you all. I think that it's just been unreal. Like, I think there's something specifically that's very missed in other aspects of music versus Twitch music. Twitch music has this ability to really be intentional with your community and with people who just gravitate towards what it is that you love to do. And so having this ability to be able to talk personally with people and have interaction, even if it's not face to face, it's like one of the closest things to it. And so being able to do that, being able to see just the work and the projects that I've put my heart out into, and just to see all of those be received so well and received live has been unreal. And I'm always, as much as I joke about it, I do love like just the teasing and like just the ability to be able to have a community and have the
Hmm.
community in and of itself have a personality. Like there's so much on the Discord that I'm not even a part of that they're like, this is all that's going to happen. And I'm like, wow. And so to see it take a life of its own and to see that stem from what I like my work and my artistry has been really unreal. And I don't think you can find that anywhere else. So I've been really grateful for the last 2 years.
Yeah, especially we've talked about that with a previous podcast guest, Sonata G Major, right? Where, obviously like Twitch music is such a unique environment for musicians, right? Because not a lot of
Mm-hmm.
musicians in, what we say like the mainstream media have this personal connection with the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you have these artists like, your big time artists like your Ed Sheerans and Katy Perry's and Taylor
Mm-hmm.
Swift's, right? But it's like,
Right.
how many of them actually have like one-on-one interactions or, like even one on like couple, hundred interactions with their communities, right? Where they actually
Right.
sit down and chat with them and get to know them and, ask about how they're doing and everything like that, right? You don't really get that. And I think that's really unique to the Twitch music space community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, obviously, you joined Twitch Music in August 20, what was it, 2021?
Yeah.
So what kind of inspired you to do that?
Yeah. So I've been working pretty exclusively with a producer for the last, since 2018, I think is when we started officially.
Hmm.
And he was working with an artist who was on Twitch, and it was actually Heavenly, which is super, like, just a cool connection. But yeah, he was like, I talked to this artist who was talking about Twitch and just the benefits of Twitch, and I really think that you would love Twitch and just the environment that it brings, because we were talking about socials and things like that, and TikTok was mentioned and thrown out so many times. I'm like, I just can't, in my soul I don't have the bandwidth to do what they want me to do, and I
Yeah.
could try, but I feel like I just, when I'm in something, I'm in it fully. And so they were like, I feel like this is something that you can actually have intentional conversations with people. You actually reach a wider audience depending on your channel. And so and to see, like, a lot of the music industry was shifting kind of in that direction at the time, because they
Hmm.
saw a lot of the stuff with Twitch was that it was very, like, you can't really tailor too much of it. It's pretty raw. It's pretty real. You can have edits and, filters and things like that, but there's only so far that you can go with that. So it's really like how far someone can carry an
Hmm.
audience. And so he's like, you should try it. I think that you would fit right into the Twitch community. And I was like, sure. And so I stepped in, and I had zero idea half of the words that were being said. It seemed like a completely new language to me. But, like, within that month, I was like, well, might as well start streaming. And so it was just my camera from my phone, like literally just an app from OBS that I
Yeah.
just stuck up, and I had my MacBook from college at the time. And I'm like, I just, and to see where it is now is really fun. But that was pretty much how I got my start. There was just hey, you want to do this? I'm like, sure.
And so, what was your music journey like up until that point, right? Because obviously you signed with the label, you said 2018, or worked with a
Mm-hmm.
producer since 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what kind of, sorry, I'm just seeing you're peeking here a little.
No, you're all good.
There we go. What has your experience been before that? Right? Obviously, you probably
Yeah.
started music way back when, so, why don't you just talk
Mm-hmm.
us through a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I went to school for music, and I always knew I wanted to do something music related, but I didn't know exactly what type of music and what that would look like for my livelihood. It was just I know that this is what I feel passionately about, and this is what I want to pursue. And so I had known that for a while. I kind of grew up. I was like, I'm going to be a pop star, and and that, everyone has that one dream. They want to be an astronaut. They want to be like. There's so many.
And now
And then
you
for me, I
are.
was like, that was just what I wanted. I don't know if I fully want that anymore, but I definitely want to do music. And so there was just this, like, this is what I know that I want to do. And so ended up meeting my producer in 2018. And at that point, it was just, we would release songs. It's kind of still similar to what we do. We'd release songs 4 times a year. And then if we had other features or things like that, we try to push for those as well. We would pitch to other artists. If there's anything that we didn't want for the project, we would shop those songs out to TV Film or any, like, DJs, people like that. And so that was a lot of my career, and I had just started to do more gigging and things like that when COVID hit. And so COVID really just set everything back to the beginning. It was like I finally reached this place where I was able to perform my stuff more often. I was still doing stuff on stage, but it just wasn't for my project. And so I started doing that, and, couldn't do it for a while. And so this was where I moved. But before that, it was a little more live shows as we got more comfortable with our rhythm and with my brand and what kind of music I wanted to release.
Hmm.
And then releasing songs every 4 years and shopping the ones, or 4 times a year, and then shopping the ones we didn't want. So, hi, guys.
Sorry, I'm just turning up all my levels here as much as I can.
No, you're all good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, because, up until that point, right, like, the whole of getting into music was probably like a whole different, right, rather than now where, where sorry, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here.
No, you're
Yeah,
good.
whereas now, obviously with Twitch, right, it's a lot easier for musicians to kind of express their musical talents
Hmm.
and do what they want to do, right? But what kind of got you first prompted into like I want to sing as a living, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say since I was a kid, I loved to perform. Getting any chance that I had to just be on stage
Mm-hmm.
was just my bread and butter. I loved it. It felt like it was something I was supposed to be doing. And I'd had people speak into my life too and say the same thing. So it was also, it wasn't something that I just had as a dream that kind of faded. It was something that people also poured into me as well. And so I it was just always a passion of mine, and it manifested in a lot of different ways. I had a period of time where I was wanting to be in theater, so I was like, Broadway is it. That is where I want to go. And I realized that I really preferred the music scene and just being able to still be myself, and still portray the things that I wanted to portray without having to do it through another character. Um, so I don't know if that fully answers the question, but it was something I've always just absolutely loved doing.
Mm-hmm. And so is anyone else in your family musically gifted, or are you kind of just like the one with the lone wolf?
I'm the only one pursuing music, and I think the joke is that it kind of skipped a generation.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents are not musical, but they can hold a tune, which is, you know, more than can be said for other people. But
Me.
my my I wouldn't know, but I'd be interested to know.
You
I
and many others.
but yeah, my siblings are actually all musical, and no one else really pursued it. My sister did for a little bit. She thought she wanted to go into music therapy, and then, which she's just a freaking genius, so it makes sense. She would compose her own. She's specifically gifted in piano and just would compose her own things and was consistently practicing, consistently growing and learning. And she also had a really beautiful voice. And so and then my brother never really fully pursued it, but he always could keep a tune. And then somebody
Mm-hmm.
said he sounded like Maroon 5, and he's like, "How do I know?" And so, but he just didn't really explore that until more recently. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see how he manifests that later, but they definitely both have musical abilities. It's just, I'm the one who pursued it.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. And hey, you're pursuing it really well, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
I I always see, posts of you in different gigs, right? Performing in different audiences. You're
Yeah.
live on Twitch, what, 3 days a week?
Yeah, we're at 4 right now, but we'll see how long that continues. It just depends. Life is crazy right now.
Yeah. You're releasing music, obviously,
Hmm.
like at least 3, 4 times a year with your latest single, Not For You, which, I think is awesome, right? I think that song is a
Thank
banger.
you.
Uh, and if for those of in chat who haven't listened to Not For You, make sure to follow the link, right? Go check it out. It's on every major streaming platform. If you're watching this on YouTube, all the links will be down in the description, for all Helena socials, music. So make sure you go check that out. Um, but so, I've heard many different ways of people, going in and writing music, right? There's people who schedule in like, okay, Monday at 3 p.m. I'm gonna write this song, right? And then I've known people who just kind of, they're out and about, they're, out fishing, and then a song just comes to them, right? And
Hmm.
they kind of write a song on the spot there. So what's kind of your kind of mentality towards that?
Yeah. I kind of see it as a balance.
Hmm.
And so I do believe that there should be space for creativity to do its thing.
Helena,
Oh,
your
is
mic.
my mic staticky?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, it definitely does that. It can be really annoying. Yes, I do manage it outside the stream because it's the same equipment. Yeah, is that better? Did we fix it?
Yes, yes, you're all good
Oh,
now. You're all good.
amazing. Let me know if it happens again. Yeah, so I was talking about creative process. So yeah, I do think that there should be space for creativity, but I think also I'm the type of person where I'm just all over the place. And so if I don't have structured time, I'm less likely to do it. And
Hmm.
so it's like finding kind of that balance of having the liberty to be able to create, but also scheduling discipline so that I do keep creating and keep, developing that craft. There was somebody who it was actually, I quote this all the time, but it was a TED talk from the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And her, long story short, it's a really, really cool talk. But she talks about having a genius rather than being a genius, and
Hmm.
how there's just this thing kind of there's this widely known belief back in ancient times where there was just something outside of you that really inspired your creativity and kind of loosened all of those, just the pressure and the stress of feeling like you had to create these masterpieces all on your own.
Hmm.
And so if something didn't go right, they're like, my genius just didn't do the thing today. And so, yeah, it's like trying to give space for that kind of process to happen while also still making sure I actually am giving that space at the same time and having the discipline to make sure I set that time aside. So it's a both and, I would say.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, you release a number of songs a year, right? And obviously,
Hmm.
I think you earlier said you try to release 4 songs a year.
Yeah, that's
So
the goal.
where did that kind of mentality come from?
Yeah. So it's really important with Spotify specifically, and just with the ability to release music on your own. I think it's either weekly or daily. Spotify will have 100,000 songs that are uploaded. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it's just massive. And so, one of the things that really helps with that is just consistency. And so, for us, for my producer and I, it was figuring out how we were able to reach this point where we could consistently release music and give each song its space, while also, having enough in between so that it doesn't lag after a period of time. So that's where we settled on the 4. It's roughly estimates out to about 90 days. So
Okay.
one every 90 days is about when a song's released.
Yeah. Well, one song a quarter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Something like
Your
that.
your quarterly queue.
My quarterly song. We're behind this year, but it's expected.
Well, I mean, it is expected, right? You're being very busy, right? Obviously with Twitch and you're moving and, obviously
Hmm.
getting married, which, by the way,
Right.
congratulations to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
it's a big step, right? And
Hmm.
obviously an exciting one.
Yeah.
Um, Hopefully your experience has been a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, it's been really sweet. So I'm lucky in that because I know that's not the case for everyone. But
Hmm.
all in all, it's been a really positive experience. It's just also a little stressful. Just a little.
Just
Just
a
the
little,
tiniest
just a
bit.
little. Yeah.
Say when.
Yeah, but obviously, after, right, after kind of everything kind of settles down and goes more into
Hmm.
like, the following year, I'm guessing you're gonna start ramping up again.
Yeah, definitely. I have that itch to just start it all over again. And I want to. I'm so excited, but I feel like I will burn out so fast. And so learning when to take breaks is where I'm at right now. But I do think I definitely want to ramp up as soon as things settle down. So next year I'm hoping to do more shows. I'm hoping to get more content out there, whether that be through Instagram or, you know, TikTok or, you know,
You really don't like TikTok, do you?
I really don't.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I'm not the
Yeah.
biggest fan of it either.
Yeah, I
Um,
should be. I should be nicer to it. It has done some good things for music, but yeah, it's just
but
very daunting.
but
So
girl,
I think
you're
that's the
you're
biggest
you're
thing.
Gen Z. You should love TikTok.
I technically am not. That's the
Are
thing.
you not? I thought you and I were the same
I'm
age.
I am so if we are the same age, then we're zillennials, is what it is. We're like that weird transitionary
Are
period where we're
we?
neither one or the other.
Because I'm gonna be 25 at the end of the year.
Yeah, so I'm turning 26.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
we're almost
yeah,
the
we're the
same
same
age.
age, but that's technically how I classify zillennial. Because Gen Z, they'll say things and I have zero clue.
Oh no, yeah,
I
trust me.
don't get
I've
it.
gotten to that
I'm
point as
so
well
lost.
now where like I'll be coaching or whatever, and these kids will just say stuff, and I'm like, what?
Hmm. Come again?
I don't understand your language.
So you're saying slapping is good? Like, if this slaps, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, it's
uh,
officially 97, but I would say that there's a transitionary period between that,
mhm.
Nico. Yeah.
What's after Gen Z? After Gen Z, I believe it's
Alpha?
called the no, it's yeah, it's the Alpha. It's like the next generation, right? They're called the
Yeah.
next generation Gen Alpha, which
Wow.
is like I don't understand that either, but you know.
There are two generations after. Oh my gosh. Uh,
uh,
double A. Then it's going to be triple A, and they're going to be really good with cars.
um, sorry. Um, but yeah, you know, obviously, and correct me if I'm wrong. The words are hard. You
They are so
seem,
hard.
yeah, you seem to strike me as a person that just like once you get into something, you just go full throttle into it, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of
Yeah.
been the case with everything for you?
Yeah. Until I get distracted, then I go fully into that thing as a break from whatever thing I was originally going for.
And so
Yeah.
how's that kind of been like with, you know, obviously with Twitch and with music, right?
Hmm.
Have you ever experienced kind of like a burnout effect from all of that?
Definitely. I think that especially using the creative process for so long and then being in a space where that's all you're doing, but you're just ramping up. So you don't have necessarily the level of support that, say, somebody who has a label
Mm-hmm.
has. It's all fully relying on you and like maybe one or two other people. It just gets a little tiring because I feel like I'm shooting darts in the dark, you know. It's you don't quite know what's going to stick and you don't even know if you're in the right direction. It's like they spun you around 10 times and they're like, "Now get a bullseye." And so it reaches a point where it just does get tiring and
Mm-hmm.
I have not been very good. I kind of overwork myself and say yes to too many things. And so being in a space of learning how to have boundaries, I think, has definitely helped me not burn out as much. But I definitely have experienced some serious burnout. And it's been one of those like my career still needs to progress. So, how can I do that
Mm-hmm.
while still taking the breaks that I need?
No, obviously, because I know I've spoken to a few musicians at this point, and you know, always I'd say a good 80% of them have always said that like music is their kind of like their outlet, right? To just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
relax and just kind of, you know, like on like recharge almost, right? But with you being a
Right.
full-time musician, is that still the same for you, or do you see music now as more of a work than an outlet? And if so, you know, what kind of outlets do you have?
Yeah. I definitely see it as an outlet, but I think it's very easy to see it as work. So I think the last like 6 months or so, it's been really an adjustment of me trying to figure out like now that I'm in a position where I'm not the only one relying on what I do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and getting married, there's a sense of okay, so then how can I do this in a way that's actually helpful towards what it is that I want to do long term, and how can I have this be something that helps me get there? Um, and so there's definitely this stress that was there that wasn't there before. But I think there's a sense of needing to regulate that too. Because I think if I were to focus it purely on this is my job and this job needs to be successful, then I'm just going to burn out way easier
Mm-hmm.
versus how can I treat this in a way where I get to love what I do and get to continue to pursue that and kind of do whatever I need to on the back end to make sure that that is something that I can do fully and do because I love to do it, not because I have to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. And apart from music, do you have any other outlets that you use?
Um, Yeah, I mean, it's really varied. I was a nanny for a little bit. I was a teacher for a period of time, which was really fun. Um,
What?
yeah, no, I taught English for a year during COVID, so it was all online. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to read some books that I read back in high school and read them again and reminisce. Teaching tech, I definitely did not do that.
I mean,
But yeah,
if you wanted to, I could see you doing it.
if I learned enough and if it kept not breaking on me, then, we could teach tech. But I was an English teacher specifically, so it was real. It still kind of fit in with what I wanted, but it created a different outlet in a
Hmm.
different way. So it was a different type of writing, which was nice. I got my real estate license, so that was kind of fun to
Ooh.
use that side of my brain. Um, and then
So your outlet is working.
I realized outlet, I do play Fortnite sometimes. I got the Ahsoka skin and I'm really stoked about it. But I
Oh.
also am really bad at figuring out. It's like either I'm working or I'm a complete vegetable. Like there's not really an in between, but it's been good having someone in my life who's a lot more adventurous. So I'll go
Hmm.
camping, and that's been really nice. I love being out in nature. And so having a break for all of that is really helpful. So just being out in the wilderness is something I absolutely adore. I really enjoy, I have crafts. I sew sometimes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I've sewed curtains and that was
Okay.
fun. It's not that hard to sew curtains. You just kind of hem fabric and call it a day. So sometimes you get a little loop and like double hem it type thing, and then you're
Whoa.
solid.
Whoa.
Um, I know, right? I bought resin because I wanted to try to make like a little resin thing, and I didn't touch it after that. So I want to still learn how to do that. It's just trying to do a new thing is very overwhelming. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's more. I would say, and as in terms of an outlet, that is definitely. I love reading too. I'm on the
Hmm.
Narnia series right now, and I love doing that.
I've never read Narcia. I've always been recommended it, but I've never actually gone into it.
It's really really good. I'm reading it. There's a few of them I haven't read, but the majority I read when I was a kid, and it's similar to Lord of the Rings in just its meat. I
Never read
guess
it either.
they're so good. I highly recommend. If you're a reader, then I would do it. If not,
I'm an audiobook person.
audiobooks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
audiobooks
audiobooks.
a win. It's really interesting because I think there's 7 books for the Narnia series, and each one is very different. And so it's cool to see just the different stories within the same world. Like you go through the creation of that world to the end of that world. And so to
Okay.
see like the whole progression of what happens in between is really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit this fully on stream. I don't care. I've only ever read like five. I've like actually physically read. I've only ever read 5 books ever.
Oh, were they worth it though? Were they worth the read or was it for school?
Uh, I'd say 4 of them were worth it.
Which one was it?
Which one wasn't?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Animal Farm. I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, like don't remember. Who's that book by now? I was blanking. My name's
George
blanking.
Orwell.
George Orwell. Fantastic
Hmm.
writer. I love all his other work, but I just could not get through that book. I was reading it and
Yeah.
I could not get through it. It's just one of those books where I was just kind of like, this is just painful to read.
Oh, it's a hard read because you
Hmm.
know what he's doing and you're like, I hate first of all that you're making this point and that I see this point and how it relays everywhere else. But it was definitely it wasn't my favorite
Hmm.
either.
Yeah, but like
So
1984, for
that's fair.
example, to context is probably
Hmm.
my top 3 favorite books.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
So out of those 5, 2 are George Orwell, or was one an
Yes.
audiobook? Wow.
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's not bad.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really diversify my reading.
That's okay. I'm
Yeah.
just getting back into reading now. My major in college was because I double majored. It was all reading based, and
Hmm.
so when that was done, I'm like, I just need a break. And so now I'm back in it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Any good books to recommend? I mean, obviously you're reading
Oh,
through the Narnia
yeah.
series.
Narnia is great. I finished Harry Potter and I really liked Harry Potter. Um, I'm trying to think. All of my other ones are just kind of boring philosophy books. So I don't know. It depends on what you're looking for. Because I have, there's a lot by Aristotle that are really really fascinating.
Hmm.
Um, there was, there is The Prince is really interesting, but I wouldn't. Yeah, Machiavelli is very a fascinating character. So he's interesting for the sake of, wow, you really believed those things, kind of thing. But also, I can see how some of this would be fair, but you're just taking it and just, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me personally, I think I would just need someone to like hold me accountable for like reading, right? Being like, all
Hmm.
right, next Friday we're gonna be discussing about this chapter about this book, and
Right.
I'm like, all right, I guess I'll read it.
I guess I'll
uh,
do it. Yeah, I'm the same way. I will take forever to read a book, or I'll read it all in a day. It really just depends on my mood.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And you said you double majored in college.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
firstly, I'm guessing you went to University of California
I
or
went to Azusa Pacific It was like just a small private school
oh, okay.
next to Pasadena. It's like in LA, around LA County.
Hmm. And so
So, yeah.
what did you major in?
Yeah, so I was a music and worship major, and then it's interesting because you have the major, and then I was specifically a songwriting and composition emphasis with a vocal track. Or wait, no, opposite.
Wait, what?
One track, one's the emphasis. So there's just a lot of different, like within the music genre of a degree, there's so many different, because I got a bachelor's of music specifically.
Hmm.
And so just because of that, there's just a lot of different facets that you can take. And within one facet, then that opens up like three more doors. And then it just keeps going. And so, yeah, I was specifically focusing on songwriting and composition. And then I double majored in humanities. So there was a program at the school where instead of doing GEs, you could basically just read, and you wouldn't take any tests or quizzes, but you would read these great texts and discuss them and write papers and sometimes speak about them. And that was the major. So
And
you ended up with a published book at the end, which is cool. But
wow.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it was great because I didn't have to do PE or anything else. I could
So
just
where's the
do
Helena
my
Mayer
thing.
book?
Okay, it actually, we had the option to like have it be more long-term publishing, and it
Hmm.
just was too much work for us to really do that. But we did have it was open for like a little bit of time, but it was
Hmm.
all on Tolkien and Middle Earth.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So it
So
was all just virtues in Middle Earth.
okay. And so I'm guessing for those because I went to university in Canada, obviously.
Oh, cool.
And
Yeah.
so for those who are maybe overseas, GE I believe is general education,
Yeah.
right? So
Correct.
it's
Yes.
kind of like a broad overview of everything, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you
Like in
that
order to get the major, you had to get all of these different components filled in.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of where you get like, kind of like your, all your maths, your science, English,
Hmm.
literature, all of that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, but you say so you have a degree in music and worship, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so you majored in songwriting competition, if I understand it
Yeah.
correctly.
So within the music and worship degree, there was different tracks that you can take. And so I
Mm-hmm.
went specifically the songwriting and composition track. And
Oh,
then emphasis could
composition.
be, yeah,
Okay,
composition.
I
Yeah.
heard
And then,
competition, and I'm like,
oh no. Oh, competitions in music and I do not get along. No, and then it was just specifically you could choose between an instrument or vocals. And so I was the vocal emphasis within that
hmm.
track.
Okay,
So yeah.
and so I'm guessing because of the worship part, I'm guessing this was a Christian school.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a private, I think it was Wesleyan.
Okay, yeah. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
did you ever kind of use that in your music as well? Did you ever sing in a worship band or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. So I actually still do that. I led a team my senior year. of college. And then I was also I was on a gospel team my sophomore year of college. And then I was part of what was called the expressions team. So they would just do a lot of different styles of music. So we do some typical like contemporary Christian music, and then we would do some gospel. There was some Latin music that we would do, and it was just kind of some liturgical style hymns. So it's just like a big hodgepodge of different types of worship music. And then, and then I led the team, and it was specifically doing contemporary music. And then I still will lead at churches and things occasionally. So
Nice.
yeah,
That seems
that
whatever
was definitely
fun.
a big part of my life. Maybe not as much my project, but definitely it's a big part of my life.
And so I'm guessing you say you still do that, right? So I'm
Hmm.
guessing,
Yeah.
are you a practicing Christian, or
Hmm.
do you?
Yeah.
So what? Sorry, like, 'cause I guess my kind of question is like,
No,
what kind of like,
no,
what
you're
do you
good.
view yourself as?
Yeah. It's complicated because I feel like Christianity has definitely gotten a bad rep, especially in the last few years. I feel like
It
it's
has,
been,
yes.
yeah, and it really makes me sad because I think I just see it more as a relationship than I do a religion. And so there's
Hmm.
this sense of a lot of people are pushing agendas and using faith to do that, which is very much what happened with, the Catholic Church back in the day. But I mean, they definitely executed people over that. So at least we're not there.
Yet.
Yeah, at least for now, we'll see. But, so that was a big piece of our history, and it's something that you kind of see rearing its head again. And so I really don't agree with a lot of what's happening on that front. But I still believe in, my relationship with the Lord, and I see that as very real, and I
Hmm.
see He's worked in my life very evidently. And so it's almost like the way that I view it is I'm on this quest for truth, and I just want to figure out what truth is because I do believe it can be found. Um, and I think that if someone finds something that completely disproves what I believe, then I'm totally jumping ship because I'm more than anything else, I'm on the quest for truth. And I
Hmm.
believe I've found that to be in the Christian faith. But again, it's this quest rather
Yeah.
than
Hmm.
I'm going to find whatever I can to align with my theory. It's like if science comes out with something that's really interesting, I'm going to look at both and I'm going to see, okay, so then how can we critically figure out where the truth lies?
Yeah,
So I
and I
don't know if
think
that fully answers it, but
no, no, yeah, it does. And I think
yeah.
what a lot of people misunderstand is that, like, with Christianity, it's not really so much about the religion, right? But it's more about specifically about your relationship with God, right? And
Right.
I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of people misunderstand it of, like, oh, it's a church thing, right? Well, no, it's a relationship, relationship.
Relationship thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's about that. It's
Mm-hmm.
about your connection, right? And
Right.
like, I'm kind of in the same boat, right? Of like this is what I believe to be true, right? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think personally for me, the only way, like the way that I see it is that, like, the only way that you could ever change my mind of Christianity being false is if you could prove that Christ wasn't resurrected,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
without that, Christianity just kind of falls on its face,
Yeah, it
right?
does. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit on a sinking ship and just say, no, this is still real, But
Yeah.
I've seen too much of it in my
Mhm.
life for it
Mhm.
to be a coincidence and for it to just not be true. Like there's just so many instances where I've seen something, or witnessed something through somebody else where it's like it just cannot be just happenstance. There's just no,
Mhm.
in my own personal life, I can't see a way around it.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you there, right? And it's great that you're open to talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have speaking in privately with some people who kind of don't want to touch a subject, right? Because they're kind of like, oh well, I don't wish talking about it. I don't want it to,
Right.
quote unquote, ruin my image, right? And I'm like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's
Right.
not what it's about.
Right. And I think I understand to a degree. I think that the Christianity brand, I guess, if you even call it that, has done a lot of damage. And so I totally understand people who are just shy about it because
Mhm.
there's just like, on behalf of literally the people that I guess I'm looped in with that, like I want to apologize. It's like I feel so poorly about the ways that Christianity has dealt with certain things. But I also think that just because the people haven't been a good representation of what the faith is, doesn't mean the faith isn't true. And so I don't have a problem talking about it, because it's this opportunity for me to be like, what you're seeing is awful and I'm in full agreement. And that's not what I believe, And so it's an opportunity to just, talk more about that side of it rather than the ways that people have failed, which we're human and we do. So
yeah, and I think kind of the biggest thing of like of not even just Christianity, but just like as people in general, I think like the best thing for us to do is always just to be able to be open to talk about things, right?
yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of like things are kind of like stopping now, right? And obviously there have been some artists, right, like especially even in music and film, who kind of had been able to this kind of like open up this kind of like Pandora's box of like actually allowing people to talk about things, right? And I think
Right.
that's very, that's awesome, right?
No.
Yeah, and sorry, I guess kind of like just kind of leading into my question of like, would you ever use kind of your music and stuff to kind of like
let's go. No,
yeah.
just kidding.
Would you kind of ever use your music and stuff to kind of be like open up subjects that some people don't really want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is a large reason why I'm so passionate about lyrics. I I'm actually I'm trying to do my best to do that already, So I have, like, the first song I ever released was about grief and like the sense of, I am still stuck here and I don't know how to get out. I'm sitting in this grief. And I think a lot of people, there's this desire to just be like, well, it's been 4 months, like move past it already, and you don't want to milk it, you don't want to reach a place where you're not getting healing and reaching a new normal, but there's still this sense of, I'm allowed to sit here and I'm allowed to feel what I'm feeling, knowing that this hit me and this hurt and this was painful. And so if it's like, music, I feel like, is a very nice way of saying things sometimes. And so I could say that to you and that could mean something, or I can put it to a tune and have it connect with you in a different way. I have another song it was a relational song, but more just about what I was seeing as a whole, and calling out just levels of toxicity in relationships. So, which was my song Childish. And, it was a hard one to write, but it was this sense of, this stuff has to be talked about, and it has to be talked about in a way that people can actually start the conversation. So if my songs are able to create an impetus for a conversation about things, whether that be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that other people are feeling this way. And then in my relationship, I'm letting things slide and things like that shouldn't at all. Like, I'm thinking this is normal. I'm being told this is normal. But now to hear a conversation that started about, like, hey, this is my experience too, and it's not right. It could push for better development in both, just to spark those conversations and move those forward. So I have zero problem talking about things. I think that we actually run into a problem as a society if we're unable to talk about anything. Of course, there's like kind ways to do it, and I wouldn't just be like, well, y'all are just wrong. It's like, you want to be able to bring up conversation and be open to different ideas. But I think if we reach a point where we're closed off to different ideas, then that's where we really run into trouble.
All right, perfect. And so, obviously you said that you work with a producer. Do you also work the label, or no label yet?
No, I don't have a label right now. We're in communication. I just say you're entitled to your wrong opinion. I do say that. That just contradicted everything I just said. But no, yeah, I'm kind of moving through my options. I feel like music has shifted so much since TikTok really came into the picture specifically because music just became a very oversaturated platform and an oversaturated thing as a whole. And so it's kind of at this point where it has the benefit of that is you have a lot more people who want to invest in music. And so figuring out the best avenue to go has kind of been where I've been landing. And it's figuring out, like, I just want people who are passionate about what I'm doing and want to invest in that. And so however that looks, I'm open, but I want to find the right team that's going to help propel that forward.
Do you ever feel, because I've known people who are signed to labels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so their biggest worry when they were signing to a label was losing not so much your creativity, but kind of more of like their say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of, what songs come out and what songs don't, and when songs can come out and stuff like that. Do you ever feel that fear, kind of when you're looking for a label and, potentially going to be working with a label?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that fear in the back of my mind, but I do think that if and my producer's been amazing. He's been really supportive, and with any kind of legal documents and stuff, he's been really helpful with that. And so I'm not necessarily worried because I know I have the right team when it comes to it, who will be able to do that and be able to make sure that we still have the creative liberties and the ability to write what we want to write and release what we want to release. But I do see it more as, I think the right person will see it more as a relationship and how can we navigate this together, knowing that I signed you onto my label as, because I see something in you. And so I need to give you the freedom to be able to do that. But also, here's the way to do it in a way that actually will create different results and the results that you're looking for, And so I think that while there is worry in the back of my head that people will say something and then do another thing, I do believe that I have the right team that's going to steer me in the right direction when it comes to it. And then on top of that, I think I feel really confident that when I get to that point that I'll find somebody who's just as excited about what I'm doing as I am.
And so, you keep saying about this team. Do you want to maybe give them a little shout out of who they are?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's really, honestly, it's technically more so my producer's team. He's just letting me use his resources.
Oh, okay.
But I know that because of that, because people are invested in him, because it's like an artist development kind of program. So he's a little more than a producer. And he has been absolutely amazing. His name's Josh Segan. He has worked with a lot of really cool artists. And I think the first time we met, he like name dropped a few people. And I'm like, what? That's rude for you to say that.
Now he uses your name.
I hope so. That would make me really happy. But he is just really, really gracious and really generous with his resources. And so he's a really big piece of that. So when that time comes, he's going to make sure I have what I need to make sure that things are good. And I trust him a lot and he trusts his team. And so because of that, it's like I know that we're going to be good when the time comes. But I guess when I say team, I just mean him.
Okay. And so how did that partnership first develop?
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why I'm like, it can't be, life cannot just be a coincidence like this. So he was actually looking at the school that my mom worked at the time and because they're wanting to develop more of their music program. And so they brought him on as a potential consultant for that. And so they were all in this big meeting. My mom's not even anywhere within the music department. She was just one of the administrators. And so she was sitting there and like, they were kind of talking through their ideas. I don't even know if she spoke, but he just had this inkling of, I need to talk to this woman. There's something about this woman. And then my mom had this inkling of, I need to talk to this guy. It was just this like, this supernatural like push kind of in that direction. And so then they met up and he finds out that, my mom has a daughter that is into music and he gets that kind of thing. When you're a producer, or I feel like when there's a certain creative side, the first thing is, oh, well, like my daughter is, or my son, or like my cousin, or, there's just kind of those things. And so she had mentioned it, and he gave me a chance and was like, there's something, I just feel like I need to see this through. And we met for the first time. We wrote a song. That song never saw the light of day, but we've been shopping it, so we'll see if it ever does. But the
Okay.
second one we ever wrote was When It's Over. And
Oh wow.
so,
Okay.
yeah, which is still my biggest song for my project as, I
Hmm.
guess, a solo
I,
project.
I
So
think a couple hundred thousand listens
it's
on
at,
Spotify.
oh, what's it at now? I was 1.7 million, I think.
Woo.
I think I might be wrong.
When it's over, 1.798 million.
There it is.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So it's still climbing.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's a big song.
Yeah, and so it's been cool because it just started with that. Thank you, Rizzy. Also, hi. Um, it just started with that kind of spark of I should talk to this person on both ends, and then it led to conversation with me, and however many years later, here we are.
Here you are, yeah. And so I
Yeah,
do want to talk about one of your songs, right?
yeah,
Because I always love talking about people's like their number one song, right?
hmm,
And for you, that's
right,
actually Signals,
right,
right?
hmm,
3.7 million listens on Spotify. And
yeah,
that's just on Spotify. Who knows how many other listens elsewhere. So
hmm.
how did that song come to be?
Yeah, so I was writing with a guy by the name of Andreas Moss. He's phenomenal. I have him as some of my rotating music for my intro stuff on Twitch, but his voice is just unreal. His writing skills also unreal. He just has these melodies for days that he can just pull up and just be like, no big deal, you know? And so
Hmm.
I got to work with him, and I've worked with him a few times, and he's just amazing. He's a very pleasant human being. And so it was him and my producer, Josh, and we had this potential pitch to a DJ that we wanted to. It was like a slot. They're like, we're looking for songs, and we're like, let's write you one. So we wrote Signals, and originally had given it to one DJ, and then it ended up um, something happened where he let us shop the song somewhere else, and so it ended up with Van Herpen and Relipso are the two DJs on it. And but the whole song is really just talking about. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's hot. It's kind of like hot and cold Katy Perry, like that kind of vibe, but in a different, like, just make up your mind, buddy.
Yeah.
It's I can't read you. I can't figure out what you're doing. I don't know. Like I rather you tell me and have it be negative than to not know at all. So that's really like the premises of the song. And so then it was what was cool about it, and what was cool with DJ songs specifically is DJs will pitch individual songs to labels
Hmm.
versus getting signed. And I think there are some DJs that still are signed, but that tends to be more of the common piece of
Yeah.
that, at least from my experience and having songs pitched to DJs and so on and so forth. And so we pitched to a label called Hot Vibes, and they took it. And so a lot of that is just their efforts, which shows really how much a label can help with
Hmm.
what you do. So and he changed the song. Actually, the demo is a lot slower. So he
That is
sped up.
really.
Yeah, so you might be able to hear it a little bit, but so he sped up what we did and then added everything to it, and it was really fun. It's like a really cool dance song that specifically works within the demographic that he was looking for, and so I was really happy to be able to work with him and Van Herpen, and they're both really fun, and so it was just a big group of people that really worked on that one, and it was a whole lot of fun to be able to do that with other people as well.
Will the demo ever see the light of day? Get a little exclusive
I
on your channel?
I kind of hope so. I don't know if I'm allowed to because there's other people in it, but I I would love to because it was really fun. It was
Hmm.
significantly slower.
I mean,
But
I say just do it and then just worry about the legal stuff
yeah,
later.
ask for forgiveness,
Yeah.
right? I
um.
mean, I don't even have it. That's the thing that's sad about
Oh.
it. I don't even have it. I would like to though. I might talk to actually my producer about that and be like, "Hey, what if we did?" But I don't think it would do as well because
Just
it's not backed by a label.
A Helena Mayer remix.
And it's just the demo.
Yeah.
Not the remix. Technically, it's the OG. So,
Yeah, and I think for me, when I first started listening to your music, I started because I never really heard of you until I'd say October of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I met you
Right.
over on Sonata G Major's channel, which for those of
Ah,
you who don't know,
Sonata.
yeah, shout
We
out to
love
Sonata.
Sonata. The
Um,
best.
yeah, and I kind of like he was kind of like he just kind of said like, hey, check out this streamer, right? Awesome singer, she's a partner, and I'm like, well, I mean, why not? Let's check her out. She seems to be kind of funny, right?
I think we played Fortnite too at some point, right?
We did, yes,
Hell yeah.
yes. Oh, okay. There's a shout out. I have music in my ears now. Hold on. um, yeah, you can't see it on this page. But whenever I give a shout out on my channel, it plays a random clip
Oh,
from their channel.
I love it.
Yeah. So
So good.
like if I ever like give like anyone a shout out, like if I gave you a shout out once, and so it just pulls up like a random clip from your
Oh
channel.
no, I feel like I can be so unhinged. That scares me.
I mean, it's nice because I swear with music streamers, you're bound to get one of two kind of clips. Either them just
Mm.
like doing amazingly on a song, or or the other chance is they're just talking just complete rubbish.
Oh yeah. That's me probably over 50% of the stream, if we're being honest. How much of it's really music now?
It's
I'm just
it's
kidding.
it's a just chatting stream with a little bit of music.
With some music, you know? Yep.
Music
That's
when I
how it
feel
feels
like it.
sometimes. Right, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, obviously, got to know you ever since last October.
Hmm.
And I think personally for me, when I was first listening to your songs, because I met you through Sonata, and
Hmm.
then I went to one of I was able to catch like 2 or 3 minutes of one of your streams, um, and then later on in the day I was like, oh well, she said she has music on Spotify, right? So let's check it out, and I fell in love with the song Protagonist.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just such a cool song. So,
Thank you.
where did that kind of come from?
Yeah. Oh, that one was really fun. So that one was actually technically it's not my story. I was writing on behalf of somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
and just the story that I'd heard, and it was the story that led to this realization. It was kind of the first song I would say that I had written that. There's a lot of things where when I write music, I'm really trying to be uplifting. And it's like, even though this is about a breakup or even though this is about something really serious, how can I find a way to just encourage everyone to rise up? And then this one kind of just felt like, well, like F that dude, And so
We
if
don't
I'm
like
being
you.
honest, we don't like, but it was more so like, because it wasn't necessarily pointed at somebody as much as it was a general population of people, like
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with this situation, or somebody that I know was dealing with a situation where it was just complete craziness because of some narcissistic tendencies that were happening. And, it's like this sense of, I will make sure that everyone believes my narrative over yours. And they succeeded in it. And so it was just this person in my life who's sitting there like, what do I do with that? Knowing that, your side of the story is not what actually happens, but you've, on all sense of the term on, this side of earth or whatever, like there's not a win. Like I've lost this battle that I didn't even want in the first place. And you're making it seem like I'm the bad guy, And so it kind of created this process of, like how do I deal with a narcissist? Like, how do I deal with someone who genuinely does not have any desire to grow and it's only a desire to push their own agendas? And so that's really kind of the start of Protagonist. It was I had this anger moment where I had protagonist slash villain, I'm pretty sure, and I had teased around the title a few times with my producer, and he's like, I don't really see that ever becoming. He's like, it's not a very singable word. And it'd be a fun word if we can find a way to incorporate it, but it just doesn't seem very singable. And I'm like, okay, so I kind of let it go. And then he had this beat that he produced, and he's like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's time to bring out protagonist. And so that's kind of where the song followed. It just became this sassy way of saying, well, I guess if this is your narrative, I have no way of controlling that. And so like I'll be this. Like if that's what I am to you and I can't change that, there's no point fighting it. And so and not that it's like, I'm just going to become the worst person and actually be a villain. It's more so like if what I'm doing and what I believe is right and how I'm doing it is incorrect in your eyes, and if the only way that you see like right is to see me as the villain, I guess, if that's your definition of that, then there's nothing I could do to change that. So I'm not going to try to.
Hmm.
And so then, and we never even wrote a second verse because I'm like, there's no shot. There's no shot I cannot have a rap on this. And so my producer's like, I know a girl and she's amazing. And so then they wrote it and sent it over. I'm like, this is it. This is what we want. And so
Yeah.
it was just really fun to be able to work around this new genre that I hadn't really tried yet, and something that was a little more in the hip hop world. And to do that, and then to have somebody who was as talented as Jesse be able to cut the track was so much fun. And now we're friends. We talk every now and again, and we actually met after the song, so we didn't even meet in person until after the song was released. But she's amazing, and I love her to death. So it's been really fun to be able to have that. But long story short, that's pretty much how the song came to be. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I guess between that song and Signals, right? You've worked with
Mm-hmm.
with a couple artists now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so what in your experience has kind of been the most fun collab that you've had?
Oh, I don't know. Fun collab. I have a friend that I work with from high school who's phenomenal. His name's Travis Heidelman. He'll pop up on stream every now and again.
I thought you were
And
gonna say Travis
he's,
Scott.
yeah, right. It was my time with, it's super simple. My time with Travis Scott. No, just John Bellion.
Yeah.
I wish. Oh my gosh, that's a dream collab. But
Uh,
yeah, so it's been really fun to work with him because one of his first songs and one of his first albums I was also a part of when
mhm.
I was a senior in high school. And so to see where he's grown, he went to Berklee School of Music and he's just absolutely killing the game as specifically a vocal. He does a lot of vocal production really well. And so and he actually, super small worlds, but he was an intern for my producer for a little bit too. So I think he was the one who did the vocals and everything for When It's Over. But working with him has been a lot of fun. And then I'm actually in the process of working with some other artists as well. I've been really only working with my producer up until this point, but I've
Mhm.
wanted to branch out a little bit more, not because I'm like, I'm done with you, but more so it's like I feel like I've reached a point where I just really want to continue to grow. And our contract is really within, I think we meet like once a month. And so I just
Mhm.
want to have more sessions. And so I want to be able to experience different styles of writing and different things like that. And be able to have stuff within my project that just shows the maturity of that. And so I'm excited to be able to have more. And I have a few on the works that I'm really excited about. But
Are you able to give
yeah,
any exclusives? Any name
I
drops?
I don't know. I don't know. There are a few people that we're trying to work in. I don't know if
Mhm.
they'll be. I don't know if it'll happen, but I don't know where that's supposed to be. I don't want to scare them off.
You don't want to scare them off because you're too famous for them, right?
No, it's the opposite. I feel like they're too famous for me.
um, yeah, I guess because you kind of say that. Do you ever kind of experience this kind of like imposter syndrome, right? Where it's
Hmm.
like you kind of like because you always say that like you're not this big time or anything, right? But it's like
Yeah.
you are, right? And you see even Sonata's saying it.
Sonata. Oh my gosh. Hi, my
um
friend.
but yeah, do you ever kind of like get this like like imposter syndrome of like what am I doing here, right? Like I don't
Right.
belong in this space, right? Or do you kind of like see yourself of like owning of like no, I worked to be here. I deserve to be here. This is my time.
Yeah. I definitely do. I think. it's kind of impossible not to as a creator. I know very few creators who are like, I don't have this problem ever. I think that especially with what music is and with the level of expectation that comes within music, because now it's like you kind of have to be your own label until you're not. So you have to be a good content creator. You have to be a good vocalist. You have to be a good songwriter. You have to be photogenic. There's so many different, you have to understand what you want when you're behind the camera, but you also need to be good in front of the camera. And so there's so many different pieces of that I think it's really easy to look and see other people who you think are doing it better and are like, dang it, I'm not where I need to be,
Mm-hmm.
And so, which comparison's never going to benefit anybody, especially in the music world. I think it needs to be more collaborative. And it doesn't have to be like, you can listen to more than one artist. You can go to more than one show, it doesn't have to be a fight. And
Yeah.
so I've definitely had to fight that a lot. Because I think that it's really easy to get immobilized the more that you let those thoughts take over. And so it's been this sense of, maybe I'm not doing everything that I need to be doing. Maybe there's a lot more that I just don't know and that I need to do. But I can give myself grace and also know that I am so far from where I was even a year ago. Like I've been able to see the progression of my life. And that's not even like, look at me compared to other people. It's like, look at what I've done compared to myself a year ago. I
Mm-hmm.
put in the work to make sure those things happened, And so having grace for that and knowing that, especially within the music industry, there's just not a cookie cutter way of, having it as a full-time gig. There's just not a way to make that happen anymore. It's not just, you go in and you play in front of a bunch of people in, black suits and then boom, you've got a label deal. Let's go. It's just not that way anymore. And so it's this sense of, I'm doing good work and I know that the people that have spoken into my life who I trust also say that I'm doing good work. And so I need to believe that over this current like insecurity that I'm feeling. And it's way easier said than done, but I do think that there's a beauty to be had about being able to kind of see how can I then fight this thought, because that's what it is. It's a negative thought.
Mm-hmm.
Being critical of yourself is not going to get you anywhere. There's, you want to be able to say, okay, well, maybe I do need to change A, B, or C, but there's this level of if I'm consistently tearing myself down for the stuff I'm not doing, then I'm never going to get anywhere, instead of just, okay, what can I be doing? So focusing on more of the positive progression and how much you've come, like how far you've come, but also where you want to go versus all the things you haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning that. I'm not there yet, but that is what I know in the logic side of my brain to be true. It just needs to hit the heart,
You just need to learn it and master that skill, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of
Mm-hmm.
come through with it and be able to own it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so
Exactly.
obviously, you've been working lots, right? And with Sonata G Major in the house
The
here.
best.
Yeah,
I
I
miss you,
do. I
friend.
I do have to ask, right? Obviously, you are in Mulga House, right?
Yeah.
Which, for
Mm-hmm.
anyone that doesn't know, shout out to Mulga House. Mulga House is
Woo, 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 woo.
a super awesome space for music creators on Twitch to be able to showcase their talent. They showcase awesome musicians on a weekly on the Mulga House Twitch channel. They not the shout out, Sophie. So, do the Twitch shout out, please.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just gonna let this clip play
Oh.
through.
Oh, you're all good. I can't hear it, so I'm just basking in the silence right now,
Hold on, let's see. Yes, thank you. Yes, make sure you go follow Mulga House. How long is this clip? It's still going. Oh, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, shout out to Mulga House. So how did you kind of get involved with that, right? What was kind of your been experience with that?
Yeah, so it actually all boils down to Sonata, who we love
Wow.
very dearly. Sonata was one of the first people to see my stream. And he was one of the first people to really just kind of take me under his wing and be like, this is Twitch. This is how you do the Twitch. And, and so it was really sweet to be able to, because I get really overwhelmed really easily when it comes to technology, especially, which my
You don't
community will know
say.
that. I I get so quickly frustrated because it's like it's not tangible, like you can look and you just see a screen and there's so many different ways of getting to the solution that you need to get to. So I don't think I would have ever even been remotely where I'm at now if it weren't for Sonata. Like, hey, maybe these are some things, these are some future upgrades to look into. Here's what people have done in the past. Here are the cool people to raid that'll help you build your channel, and so within that, then I was introduced to, I think it was Closure Club that was the first, and Heath, and then it kind of moved from there. And then I think, I don't know who it was specifically that asked me to do the first show that I did, but that's where the relationship started. And then they asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team, and then I joined. And here we are. I think it was also almost 2 years later. It was at least a year and a half, so it's been a while. But yeah, I love what they're wanting to do with just showcasing and uplifting other artists, and doing it in a way that just gives them a space and a platform. It's a lot of fun.
And so, I'm guessing because you're still a part of Mulga House, right?
Hmm.
And so, how is that kind of interaction with between Mulga House and everything else? And obviously,
Yeah.
like how does like does that even like affect like with like future prospects of like different labels and stuff
Hmm.
like that? Do they look at that? So just kind of, I guess kind of answer the first question of that of like how is that still interaction to this day with Mogul House?
Yeah. So it's been a little bit on the back burner recently, but that's definitely more so just they're amping up on a lot of different projects that they're doing with other artists, and really wanting to create more of a consistent show for Twitch, which has
Mm-hmm.
been definitely where they need to be focusing. And so a lot of the live show things have just kind of taken a bit of a different turn in that direction. But on my end, I also have not been able to drive out there because it's a bit of a drive for me. And so it's just been, I was there a little bit ago, and so it was fun to catch up. But just with everything that I have going on as well, it's been hard to catch time in real life. And so, yeah, it's just been a lot of that. So it's been really fun to be able to watch and be able to see what they're doing and to see the ways that they've grown. And I'm excited to see where how that looks in the future. But yeah, it's just been a lot of like, I think really since I got engaged, it's been everything except, releasing music, and all of that, at least for me, has been a little bit of a pause as I've prepped for all of the things. And then I had some shows as well where I had some people looking into them. And so, uh, yeah, I don't know if that fully answers your question. It's
No,
just,
no, it
yeah,
does. It does. Yeah.
yeah.
And so yeah, it's great to hear that, obviously you're still going to be working with them and moving forward with
Hmm.
them, right?
Yeah.
I think they're a really they're a really great place for musicians, right?
Hmm.
Especially on Twitch. And so and it's really cool to see when like streamers kind of help them out and they help different streamers out, it because
Right.
it's always a building thing, right? Because
Hmm.
I think that like push music is still so new,
Yeah,
right? That
it really is.
you need that kind of that um
Like the collaboration.
the collaboration. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
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 Hmm. Yeah,
Um
absolutely. You definitely need that in music. If you don't have that, it's
mhm.
just, I just don't feel like you're creating what music is supposed to be?
Yeah, no, I fully get that. Yeah, and I think there has been like there are some artists who are just kind of like, oh, I don't want to collab with this person, right? Like, or like stuff like that. It's like, oh well, they're not relevant enough. But it's like, no, like with, especially in music, right? Different collaborations, like constantly building yourselves up, right?
Hmm.
It's the key in music, right? And especially because like
Right.
it's like you said earlier, um where where it's a constant build up, right? Like a viewer or listener will not just listen to one artist or one song, right? They're gonna
Right.
listen to multiple different artists, multiple different songs. They're gonna go to multiple shows, right?
Hmm.
And so you do have to like just kind of keep building each other up as musicians, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't think that. you can really go anywhere without it. And I mean, people have, but there's this sense of it's just different. It's just you're in it for the business. You're not really in it for the music.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And so I guess my next kind of question for you would be, because obviously, there's always collabs to happen, right? And people
Right.
to collab with. And so
Mm-hmm.
I always ask this question to every musician that comes to my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Your top three collabs with other Twitch
Oh.
musicians.
Ooh, okay. Other Twitch musicians. They're
Yeah.
so okay. Yeah. Anna Luther is like immediately what comes to mind. Anna Luther music is phenomenal. I absolutely just love her stuff. And I'm so sad that I have not been able to meet her in real life, but I would love to at some point. Um, is it people who I haven't collabed with?
Anyone on
Oh,
Twitch.
okay.
It could be literally it could be anyone from John, right?
John
To
would be fun.
to anyone who I guess he is technically now the Twitch streamer of like Logic and Snoop Dogg, because they're both Twitch
Right.
streamers now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He should be. He should be. Um, oh gosh. I feel like okay, I'm gonna because I've had collabs with a few different people and I've absolutely just adored them. So I might do it based off of people that I want to collab with because I've collabed with Julie a few times and I adore her. She's one of my favorite people. She's so much fun. I've collabed with Sonata, who is just insane. And the guitar skills know no end. I've collabed with Carmela and I guess I did one big one with Carmela and Raquel and Anel and all of them, and that was a blast. Like being able to spend some time with them. So I'd love to get like an official collab with Anel and Carmela at some point. Oh gosh, there's so many. There's just the
Just
more
your
that
top three.
I feel like I can't have a top three. Okay, but I'm gonna base it off of people I want to. That's what I'm gonna do because there's so many people that I have that I've loved and would love to do it again. But I'm gonna focus on people I want to. So, or I haven't yet. So Anna Luther, I would say Chaselyn. I would love to do something with her. She's just so good. Her songs are insane. And then
sorry. So if we could just get shout outs for these people if you can find them. Which also I think I did set up everything correctly. So if you do the regular SO shout out, the clips should work on this page now as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so talented. And then I would say Matt Walden. I feel like I would have a pun war with him, and I would probably lose, and that's rare. So
I mean,
that would be a lot of fun.
I don't know about puns, but I know you are the dad joke queen.
I love dad jokes. I feel like my love language is dad jokes. So
Oh man, I think it was last night on Sophie's channel. Okay, well that part worked. Well, the clips work. The clips do work now. Let's go.
Yay! Let's go.
Oh no, Sophie, you can't do them this quickly, or else the clips were overlay. But yeah, I was on Sophie's channel and she was just had enough of me with my dad jokes.
Dad jokes are the best.
Oh,
we love dad jokes.
The best.
Oh yeah,
Vince Thompson.
100%.
You need it.
They just it's that level of you got two types of people that respond to it. They're either like
Thompson on the bench.
This is why we're friends.
And this better light a fire under everyone's booties in their baseball pants.
And I accept both of those.
But under those booties,
I love them both so much.
And they better be.
No, I just feel like it'd be fun. I feel like he'd be a fun hang.
Top of their game.
And I would love. And he's incredibly talented. So to add to the dad jokes, you also have talent.
Yeah. And so if we're moving outside of Twitch now. Right. Oh, sorry, we have a Matt Walden clip that's very loud in my ears.
Sup, man? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I'm joking.
Oh my
I'm joking.
gosh.
Hey.
This is what I mean.
White Claw.
Hang.
Pull your sock up. Don't tell me. It keeps falling. I pulled it up a couple
I
times.
will say that. I know you can't hear it, but I can.
I can't. That is just a clip to have. Oh my gosh.
Why is the audio still
He's gonna
going?
be
The clip
so
is over.
confused.
Hold on, the clip is over. Why is the audio still coming through?
It's a fantastic question. We love tech. Tech just is a thing that we enjoy.
Oh, I know why.
Why?
Okay, let me do this. It's because on my other source, I have a different clip playing.
Oh, that'll do it.
That will do it. Yeah. Okay.
Y'all just don't know how to use tech. That may be also true, at least for me.
Yeah, no, we don't. I really don't. I've actually been learning. So at my church now, I have become I've become a production member. So I'm on the
cool.
production team.
Heck yeah.
And so I've been learning everything about like audio, like different cameras, lighting, and I have learned that I know nothing.
Oh yeah. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. Y'all are not.
We're not.
Rizzy, I agree with you. Nico, fair.
When I always call tech support, which is one of my good friends, Electric City. Whenever I have any sort of tech questions, I'm like, hey, you work with computers. Can you answer why this is happening?
Oh yeah, that's my my friendly neighborhood Nico.
Yeah.
Is my tech.
I need to get me one of those. Condolences to your friend. Yeah. If you actually want to go see him, he's actually live right now on Twitch.
Oh hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
Twitch.tv Electric City with a 1 instead of an L.
You know, I'm gonna. That's fun. Don't definitely have to check him out.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's a great blast. He's super funny, and just like he's an all around awesome dude.
I love that.
But yeah, what's like, do you have any like, what's your top 3 just dream collabs just outside of Twitch, just overall? And you could take and put anyone on a track. Who are you doing it?
Ooh, okay. John Bellion.
Okay.
For sure. Or at least have him produce a track. That would be so much fun. Probably because I just saw him live, but Ed Sheeran would be so fun. He is so talented. I forget how talented he is because he's in the pop world, you know? So you're like, you're just pop. But he just does it all himself. And you're like...
He started out with kind of like a rap almost, right?
Yeah, he's got some rap, yeah. I forget that I still know the majority of You Need Me, I Don't Need You. And then he had that as his... it was his encore, his first encore song. And I was singing the whole thing.
When are we gonna get that as a request?
I mean, here's the thing. There's a line in that song that I feel like I can't really sing. It's very clever, and I'm very much a fan of it. But also, I wouldn't want to sing it. You know?
I mean,
so I'd probably just skip that, but I could do the rest.
You have a party coming up. It could be a goal.
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
Yeah, a stream goal.
Yeah, it's really a clever one, but it's a little she'd be a little spicy, so it's like, well, how spicy do I want to be, really?
Which, for those of you who don't know, you're over here this way. Helena Mayer is celebrating her 2-year anniversary on Twitch this coming Friday, September the 29th.
Yep.
So
2 years.
12-hour stream, I believe.
Up to 12 hours, yeah.
Up to 12 hours. So make sure
it can be up to 12.
Go check it out. Go follow. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be so fun. I'm excited. We've got some fun sub goals that I still need to send Nico, but we do have some fun sub goals. He's like, I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
I mean,
nah.
Nico, don't worry. I understand you. This has not been like fully scheduled until last night.
Yeah, that's very true. That's true. I just, like I said, like this year has been, I am normally not the best, but I admit it and I own up to it. This season has been another level. Like it takes so much energy for me to like figure out what I want to do in response to something. So I'll like think, I'm like, I need to get back to that. And then I just never do. Yeah, I might. I'm going to try to, but I'm also, I might not.
Yeah, but for your dream collab, so you said Ed Sheeran.
Yep. Ed Sheeran, John Bellion.
John Bellion.
And, oh. Okay, this one's. I'm going to say.
Anyone in the whole world.
Okay, because here's the thing. I have two in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard that I have two in mind because they used to date.
Okay.
And so I don't want to favor one over the other. You know, I'm not trying to pick favorites. You know, because it's like mom and dad, you know, they just.
Is it Rihanna and Jay-Z?
No, did they date? I actually don't. What?
Did you
Jay-Z?
not know that? Yeah,
How did I not know that? I thought he just had Beyonce. How is he getting all these
Beyonce?
Women?
Am I getting mixed up?
I was about to be so pissed. I was about to be so mad. This guy. Oh man. Anyway, I would say it's a tie between Julia Michaels and JP Saxe.
Okay.
For their songwriting, they're both just so good, and they are very similar in their songwriting styles. So it'd have to be a tie between those.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in no particular order.
What would you classify your writing style as?
Oh, that's a great question. My writing style, I'm definitely a singer-songwriter in how I approach things. I will start off, if I'm writing by myself, I start off with a spoken word. But even then, it's blurbs. Like, that's what I call them. I have, I'll share a document with whoever I'm writing with and just say blurbs. And under it, it's like the most random things that you'll ever see. It's like, because I have this process where I have to say a rhyme, even if it's the dumbest thing. I have to type it or let it out somewhere so that I can move on from it. Because otherwise my brain's like, nope, don't forget. Nope, don't forget. Nope, don't forget that. I'm like, I want to forget that. And so I write it and my brain's like, whew, okay, let's go. You know? And so I am very much an external processor in that. And so it's just a lot of blurbs that kind of get pieced together. It's very much wordsmithing, but yeah, I would say that it's more of the singer-songwriter vibe. A lot of introspective stuff is really where I feel like I gravitate towards the most. And I just like asking big questions through song. It's a lot of fun to be able to see how can I do that in a way that's not cheesy, and will allow people to think, you know?
Mm-hmm. Would you classify yourself into a certain genre, or would you say you're just a little bit all over the place?
Rizzy, thank you. Wow. We've definitely been playing around with it. We're in the pop world, but I have some songs that are a little more straight pop. Like If I Could is straight pop. I have ballads. I have singer-songwriter stuff with talk. I have,
more house with signals.
Right. And then I have some more R&B style stuff. I have some like hip hop with, I mean, that's a very loose pop hip hop kind of thing. With Protagonist. And so there's just a lot of different variations that I feel like I've been going in, but all within the world of pop as a whole.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, that's cool to see. And like you said, like words, you do definitely see that kind of cross between all your different songs, right? Like it would be hard to really just classify you as like one certain type of singer, right? Into like one genre.
I just don't like being boxed in.
Just don't box her in. Don't put her in a box.
Don't box me in.
Yeah, even though she's in a box right now.
I am. That's true. That's a fair point.
Although
this is the only place.
Your new studio is gonna feel more of a box.
Yeah, well, it will be a little bit tinier, and yeah, but it'll be great because it'll be very much. I mean, it'll be indoors, so there'll be AC, which hopefully I don't short circuit that too, but I don't think I will. I swear, if that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose my mind. But yeah, it'll be a little smaller, but I think it'll be nice.
Yeah.
Gen Z singer-songwriter? Why am I kind of offended by that?
Because you don't see yourself as a Gen Z.
I'm not. I don't think I am.
I mean, I don't know. I think you are.
I mean, maybe so. I have some Gen Z qualities, but I feel like I'm not.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is millennial. For sure.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's more of a Gen Z thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never watched any of them. So
I feel like you just aren't cultured in all things Star Wars, you know?
My friend took me to one Star Wars movie. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was one. I think Ren was in it.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
And then I just fell asleep like I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 minutes into the movie, and I just slept right through it.
As you should. If it wasn't the first of the new trilogy, that one's the best out of all of them. But this was especially just an unfortunate trilogy, I would say.
I'll be able to tell you.
Disney, don't sue me, please. But you're not getting a good bang for your buck for that one. I think one of the best Star Wars films to come out was Rogue One. So, but I also think there's something about the trilogy.
The Last Jedi. That's the one that I saw.
Oh.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah, and I just fell asleep. Like I said, maybe like 20, 30 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It kept going from bad to worse. You had the first, I don't even remember the name of
wasn't it
this.
like
A New Hope? No, A New Hope is 4. What is something that was like a tribute to the 4th, I thought.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow any of the movies, none of the TV shows, nothing.
Fair. So you're just confused. I talk about it a lot. You're like, what?
You talk about it. I'm not gonna fully lie. You talk about it on your stream, and I just tune out. I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's fair. It's really worth the watches. It's just not those ones. You can just pretend those ones never happened.
I feel like I would need someone to watch them with me and explain it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm just kind of like, why? Why is he doing this? Why? Is there a reason for it?
So you gotta watch the trilogy, like the first original 3. I was gonna say 4, and I'm like, that's not a trilogy. You gotta watch 4, 5, and 6. And then it's episodes 4, 5, and 6, but they're the first.
So 4,
they're the
5,
OG
and 6
ones.
Are the first ones? What happened to 1, 2,
and 3?
Are the first 3?
1, 2, and 3 are the prequels, which came out in 2000s.
What?
It's confusing. So 4, 5, and
4,
6.
5, 6, and then 1, 2, and 3.
Correct. And then 7, 8, 9. That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And they say math hasn't changed.
I know. I'm like, it is like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but The Hobbit did technically come first, just not with the movies.
See, but I haven't watched those either.
You know, I haven't seen The Hobbit.
I've seen a little bit of The Hobbit, none of Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, they're pretty great. They're pretty great. The books are always better than the movies, but that's because there's so much they're trying to jam pack into. That's
fair. Yeah, because you can only put so much into like 2.5 hours of film, right?
Right. Well, and for the longest time, it had the longest battle scene of cinematic history until it got beat by Game of Thrones.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like NTO is getting really mad at me for not watching all those movies.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least
he's offended, takes it personally.
Yeah, at least I've watched Rocky. Okay.
That's true. I haven't.
Unlike some people in chat.
I haven't seen Rocky either. So.
Oh, you've got to. Rocky is one of. Doesn't
he just lose every time?
No.
I feel like he does.
No, not always.
Just some of the time. It's like 50-50. Yeah. Like 60-40, you know?
But Rocky still has, for me at least, one of the best quotes in a movie. Which I believe is in Rocky 5. right? Sylvester Stallone, he's talking to he's not boxing anymore, but he's coaching someone, right? And he's just like, he's in no spoilers for chat. Too bad you're getting
Sorry.
a spoiler.
Sorry. Well, I think it's more so that I said I haven't seen it, but I've heard that he just loses more than he wins. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
But
I haven't seen it.
He's just, he's in the streets and he's talking to this kid and he goes, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and get up and keep moving forward, right? And
that's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yes, that actually makes sense, because especially like for me coming from like a combat sports background, right? Because my whole life it's just been all sports and all combat sports, so just like coming from a background of all that, right? It's just kind of like, yes, I relate to this.
Right.
So much.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that kind of mentality you can put into like any aspect, right? You could even put that mentality into music, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you could put it a song, right, and then not do well, right? But it doesn't mean that you should give up, right? That just means like, hey, this song didn't do well. Okay, let me, write another song, and hopefully that one does better, right?
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. Tell her about the plot. Oh yeah, no. No.
No, I'm not saying the whole plot. But yeah, we do actually have a viewer question here.
Great.
From 21st Pilot. Helena, how did it feel meeting viewers from Twitch, viewers and Twitch friends IRL for the first time?
Oh, it was really fun. I mean, there was this interesting, because I think it depends. So if you're meeting a streamer for the first time, there's a sense where you have this level of, I know what you look like, you know what I look like, I know what you sound like, you know what I sound like. And so I can kind of gauge based off of that a little bit about, like, of course, I feel like people, when you're on stream, there's this level of animation that kind of comes out and you're entertaining for a period of time. And while there's still a real you, it's like, it's kind of like this bigger version of who you are, And so, but you still get a gauge of that. So like meeting, Julie, for example, for the first time, she was exactly how I expected her to be based on the conversations we've had and how I've seen her on chat, and on stream. And so, but when it's a viewer, it's really interesting because I don't know what you look like. I don't know what you sound like. I have zero background. And so there's this weirdness knowing of like, you're going to recognize me immediately. And then you're going to have to introduce yourself to me, but you're someone that I've known for so long. And so it's kind of this weird, like, I am figuring out who you are outside of this tag and this chat personality. And I feel like there's a lot that you kind of envision in your head, even if you don't try to, that you're like kind of undoing a little bit when you meet someone, but it's really cool. It's fun. I'm like, how cool that I get to be able to see more of a person than just, a tag and words on a screen. But it's cool to be able to see personality, but then also to see how that translates in person. But it is definitely different because it's the sense of, I know, I don't know you in person, but you know me because you've seen me live. And so it's definitely been an interesting transition, but I've really been able to enjoy kind of having these moments of getting to put the pieces together, I guess.
And now being obviously so big time and famous that you are, right? Do you ever get times where you're just like, where you're just doing out about and you see someone that like, obviously like has known you, right? Or like has been in chat and it's like you're just out and about and this person's like, oh my God, it's Helena Mayer.
I actually haven't had that yet, and I'm kind of grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are like, oh, I know you from so and so, but I don't think I've ever had someone like, oh, you stream on Twitch, like, oh no way, like I've watched your channel, but yeah, it just hasn't happened yet. But I don't know. It'll be fun to happen at some point.
Meet you in person.
Oh my gosh, look who it is.
I'll wear a wig and then like, I don't know, like I'll disguise myself somehow and I'll be like,
right.
Oh my God.
Guess who it is?
Yeah, or I'll pay someone to do it.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. I would be so honored. It'd be the sense of Like, because it's just a sense of, like as a musician, you want your project to reach, you want to be able to have impact. Like, at least that's my goal and it's not like I need widespread impact. It's like, I want people to be able to connect and share what I feel passionately about too. And so it just having that kind of interaction is less so like oh wow, like I'm recognized, and more so how cool is it that, there are people who have heard my project and heard what I do and are listening to it, and it's impacting them enough for them to come over and say hi, like that kind of idea is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. And so for you, right? Because obviously, front page of Twitch for, a while, right? And, you've performed many, 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 many gigs at this point, right? And so, first of all, side question, like, what was kind of like the biggest gig you've ever done?
This was kind of random. I opened for an Eagles cover band.
Oh.
Super random, but that was a lot of fun.
And so,
that was a lot of fun.
How like, what kind of size was that?
Well, so my project hasn't had, that one is like probably a couple hundred, so there wasn't a ton of people there. But when I would do stuff at APU and all of that, I think it was like once or twice a week, it was a couple thousand people that I would, at least 1,000 people that I would be singing in front of. So, but it just wasn't for my project.
And so do you ever get stage fright when you like perform in front of all these people rather than like, like at your space, like in your house?
Yeah. So actually this developed in college. I used to not have anything. I grew up on stage. I had zero problems just being on a stage and living, my best life. And then I had a situation happen in college that led me to develop stage fright that I'd never had before. And so no, honestly, that's a genuine fear of mine. But no, I'm not even kidding. Like, I freak out. I'm like, it's so scary. The amount of times I think to myself, Taylor Swift was on stage for 3.5 hours, like every night for a period of time, and didn't have to pee at any point. Like, it just blows my mind that that's a thing. But I actually passed out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I actually passed out on stage. And so that was really scary. And so my body sometimes when I'm on stage will mimic those symptoms.
Wow.
So I found out through therapy that I actually have a lot of panic attacks on stage. And so it's been a lot of undoing that, which I think I'm able to get to. But that's almost every time I've been on stage, like more times than not, at least, I've had some kind of a panic attack on stage that I've had to deal with. So it is, yeah. So I wouldn't call that stage fright. It's just more like, someone called it PTSD. That felt very dramatic, but it definitely is like full on panic.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely full on panic that I experience, and like heart rate just, and yeah. So
because I was gonna ask, like, do you ever see a difference of you performing on stage and performing to hundreds on Twitch, right? Because you normally just generate like quite a large audience, that most people would wouldn't even be able to comprehend, right? Because because seeing seeing like a number like 80, 90, 100 on a screen, right, it's so incomprehensible to picture 100 people in that space that you're in right now.
Right.
I don't think 100 people would even fit in there.
No.
Right. And
yeah.
And here you are just inviting these 100 strangers, right, who just love hearing you sing.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. There definitely is. It's more intimate, which I enjoy, but I also have full control over my channel, so it's this, I think that's the difference. There's so many different factors that can happen that are outside of my control in other places and in other gigs. Like the setup could just decide it doesn't want to work, and that could happen here, but there's just a difference. There's less of a,
you have NTO.
Yeah, like first I have NTO, but then also I have, I have a knowledge, I've worked with the stuff enough to be able to kind of know what needs to be fixed. And then I don't have people who are kind of like, relying on me to give a show in a way that like a management company or, like those people will be able to do. It's all purely like, I'm in charge of what I do, and I still want to be able to produce something that's entertaining and that's enjoyable and that is, uplifting to people in a moment of joy in their day. But it's not this, my job relies on you doing what you do,
Yeah, I get that. And did you
Yeah.
ever have a goal, right, for being on Twitch, right? Of
Um,
like, I want to see 20 people, right? Or like do you ever have
right.
that kind of mentality, or you just kind of went with it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a mix. Like, I think all in all, it was this building, it's like, I want to get to 35 people. I want to get to 50 people. I want to get to 75. I want to get to 100. And like, um, so there's definitely been a build of viewers that I've really wanted to be able to see in my channel consistently. And not as much as like a look at me and all my followers, as much as it was this sense of like knowing that the platform is like more people are interested, like there's this, it's a growth and not something that's stagnant. Because if it's stagnant, then it's like there's something I need to do to change to be able to continue that healthy momentum. So yeah, it was always growing in that way of like knowing that people who were coming in to see the channel are staying.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome to hear. And like, do you have goals kind of moving forward from now on? Like, because obviously you've made partner, right? And so I don't think on Twitch there's anything really beyond that, right? But it's like do you ever like set yourself goals of like, I want to hit 10,000 followers before New Year's, right? Or
Right.
anything like that?
I think it's more so average viewers is kind of what I focus on. And I'm probably right now wanting to build more towards having a consistency of like between 100 and 150 viewers. That's kind of where I'm building, because right now I'm teetering on like between 80 and 100. And so and then of course with like other streams outside of music, they're a little bit less. And so wanting to build that and just know that there's continual growth. And I think, I mean, the thing that's kind of a con, I guess, if you will, is my channel grew really fast, which was a lot of fun and so exciting. But now it's like I want to find a way to keep that momentum going, knowing that eventually, that momentum does slow down, but figuring out, okay, how can I reach a point where I'm continuing to have healthy growth and people who are excited, and things like, if there's something I need to change, then what do I need to change to make sure that I'm really helping this community as a whole, like not even just this stream, but the community continue to grow.
And so how fast did you actually end up growing on Twitch?
That's such a good question. So the first stream that I did, I think I had 8 people.
Wow, on your first stream.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But I think what happened and what was really helpful for that was, before I started streaming, I was on other people's streams. And so it was like kind of building the relationships, because I think Twitch is all about relationship.
It is, yes.
Yeah, and so being able to kind of have those conversations and those like, hey, I'm a new streamer, and to see just other people who are like, hey, she's a new streamer, make sure you give her a follow, or like check her out, like whatever it was. And so since then it was like, I really wanted to make an emphasis that I was here to build community, and that meant also community with other streamers, because I was just really craving creative community. And so doing that, and then I think I'm trying to think of like when all of the growth happened. I think towards like November or December, I was teetering between like 30 and 50, I want to say. And then by the time I hit partner, I was a little bit less than where I am now. Okay. I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly like that's so mind-boggling, right?
It's crazy.
Like, yeah.
It's really humbling. It's this moment of just how cool is it that there are people from all around the world who want to be like, even now, like being able to talk about it here on your channel, how cool is it that we have people tuning in who are interested and who want to engage in this, like, and collaborate in the stuff that, you and I are both passionate about. It's really, really humbling to know that people are just as excited as you are.
Yeah, and I love, like, for me personally, I love, like, just the, not so much, like, because the communities are great, but it's kind of like those, like, actual, like, friendships that you build through Twitch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like if it wasn't for Twitch, like, I wouldn't know, like, people like Sophie, Sonata, Salen, yourself, and just like all, like, a whole bunch of, like, these other like streamers. I was just like who I do talk to, right, even off stream, right?
Right.
And so it's just kind
Yeah.
of like all these, like, people, like, who who just like who I wouldn't get to know if it wasn't for the one day when I clicked on Twitch and, like, decided randomly, like, oh, I stream on Twitch, let me go see, I want to listen to music, let me see who's live on Twitch Music,
Right.
and just
Yeah.
randomly clicked on on a person that saw tag Canada, right, and then lo and behold, it was smooth sailing, right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Twitch is so cool. I love, especially Twitch Music. I feel like there's a cool group of people that exist in that world. And so,
Yeah,
and I
especially
haven't even like hit the surface of all the people, that I could be meeting that are so cool.
yeah, like, from me coming from Twitch gaming, right? Like, the Twitch gaming community is so different, right? Because, like, the Twitch gaming community is just filled with, like, just so many, like, just more, like, trolls and, like, jokesters and just
Right.
it's a different community, right?
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
like you definitely do see the difference, especially when you jump, like, from, like, Twitch gaming to Twitch Music, right? Of, like, just the difference of people in chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a huge difference. And it's really sweet. Like, you just don't get as many, not that trolls aren't here, because they definitely are, but you just see a lot less of them. And I feel like there's just been this cultivation of people who are genuinely excited about what other people are doing and what other people are passionate about, and wanting to invest and both invest their time, invest their resources, invest just community, and it's really special. Trolls are called
Trolls are called
mods.
mods. Yes, we are. Yes, we
Fair
are.
enough.
And yeah, I was just gonna ask you I have two more questions for you.
Okay, great.
One of them is, obviously, you play the piano, like, brilliantly.
Oh, wow, thank you.
One of the best piano players I've ever seen on Twitch.
Oh, now I see what's going on here.
You play the kazoo.
I do.
Right? Yeah. You have Stacy.
I do have Stacy.
Yeah.
Good old Stacy.
And so what other, like, instruments do you know how to play?
Those are the big ones. My grandpa knew how to play the accordion, so that was kind of cool. I don't think I ever learned. I almost learned how to play the organ, but my first instrument was a viola, which I haven't
What's a
picked.
viola?
I haven't played. It's like a bigger violin.
Okay.
So it's a little lower in sound. It's not as high pitched. And it's a really beautiful instrument.
It's the opposite of a fiddle.
Yeah.
Because a fiddle is smaller than a violin, right?
Yeah, so it's bigger. It's like in between a violin and a cello, but it's still like something you can put on your shoulder and play. Okay. It's just bigger. And they have a different clef. So that was my first instrument. I probably couldn't even sort of play it now, but maybe I'd pick it up again. I don't know.
You could always pick it up on stream.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I could see if I could find one. Maybe that's a sub goal. I don't know.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's definitely like learning instruments can be difficult. Would you ever want to learn another instrument?
I think I want to learn to be more proficient in the instruments I have. I second guess myself all the time. And so that's where, like, I've played piano for a really long time, but when it comes to doing improv and things like that, I really struggle, simply because I get in my head and then I'm like, what are chords? What are notes? Like, And so I think I just want to learn to be more comfortable in the instruments I already know.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I know for me, like, I've always wanted to learn an instrument. right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Piano's a great
know,
place to start.
I mean, I've learned a little bit of drums,
Oh,
right?
cool. Mm-hmm.
Cause like I was just in cadets and then in school, right? Like drums and
Right.
like drums was always like something like that came really easy for me just cause I could put
Mm-hmm.
up like tempo and patterns really easily.
Right.
And so, but like, yeah, I've always wanted to learn, like, I think a guitar would be really cool to learn.
Oh yeah, guitar would
Um,
be
this is
learning it
gonna sound
better.
weird, but a fiddle would actually be really
Heck
fun,
yeah, that's not
right?
weird at
But
all. Um.
because I'm really into country, right?
Oh yeah.
So like a fiddle, banjo would be so
Yeah.
much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding,
My
ding, ding,
fiance
ding,
was
ding.
learning the banjo just for funsies. He
Yeah, I
has a
think,
banjo.
oh, that would be so cool to learn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's just like whenever I see like musicians like you, where it's just like you just like know all these instruments and can play so well, it's just like don't get us started country stuff.
Just, I mean, honestly, just starting slow and just learning chords. Like that
Mhm,
is your biggest bet, you know, and piano's nice because you can see the chords in front of you. Like
mhm,
usually people teach music theory and when they teach it with a piano because
mhm,
you can visualize what's going on. Whereas guitar, you don't have as much of an ability to do that, but you still can. It just, you kind of have to look and be like, oh, look at the
mhm.
strings, you know, but
Yeah.
it's a lot more laid out. So my theory and all of that, like my second instrument was a piano. And so that helped me a ton
Mhm.
in learning other instruments too, because it's a good foundation piece, I would say.
Nice, yeah. And I guess kind of like my last question would be for you would be
Hmm.
like, what advice would you have to musicians, either starting out or starting out on Twitch?
Hmm.
Kind of like if you could go back, right, and like tell like 2 years ago to a younger yourself a piece of
Yeah.
advice, what advice would you give yourself, right, or to
Yeah.
others?
Yeah. I think having grace, I mean, having grace for yourself and for your process. And I think on top of that, also having the discipline to pursue and grow in your craft, you know, and knowing that you can be creative and you don't have to have that taken away by being disciplined, but you can still, you know, have time set aside to be able to perfect things and time set aside to be able to build your craft. And that will help you within your creativity. So learning that balance of giving yourself grace, but also putting yourself in a position where you can consistently grow as an artist and as an instrumentalist and as a vocalist, and yeah, giving your spouse space, but hold on, giving yourself the space to do that. That's where it is.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, this has been a blast. Do you want to give a quick shout out to any projects you're working on or projects you have
Oh,
out before we
Not for
head
you
out?
just came out. That's the biggest one. Not for you just came out, and then I have another one that'll probably come out towards the end of the year, but release date is TBD. So as of right now, Not for You is out, and would love for you to check it out. It is a really fun one and one of my favorites. So that's probably my spiel. That would be it.
All right. Well, hey, everyone. Oh, this would be so much better with a vamp. Cause, cause I'm like now like in like production mode or like production mode of like, oh, this actually would be so much better with a vamp.
Oh heck yeah,
But yeah, hey guys, if you're not following Helena Mayer, sorry, is it Mayer or Meyer?
Meyer. It's
Meyer.
like
Okay.
Oscar Meyer.
Okay. If you're not following Helena Meyer, what are you doing? Go make sure you follow her on Twitch, under Helena Meyer Music, and sometimes in a rare occasion, Helena Meyer Games.
Rarely, but
That's like
sometimes.
once in a year. Go follow her on Instagram, under Helena Meyer, I believe.
Helena Meyer Music.
Is
Yeah,
it
that's the
okay?
same.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, go
I
follow her
wish
on
one day.
yeah, go follow her on Twitch, on Instagram, YouTube channel, all of that. Go check out her merch. She has actually some really cool merch
Heck yeah.
that's out. So go make sure you go check all of that out. Go check out her latest song, Not For You. Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment box of what to name this podcast. It still doesn't have a name. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. And go check out some of the other videos. There should be a video, I think, right here-ish. Or, wait, no, here-ish. Somewhere around here of another podcast that we did. So go make sure you check that out. And thank you all for watching. And I hope you have a good one.